Not only is it insulting, but to have your male counterpart, the only one outside of other black women who knows what it's like to try to navigate this world and this society with this skin, use this skin against you?
What? So, we're about to react to this woman have a mental breakdown because a guy that she want rejected her. Let's get to it.
A black man say to me that he thought I was beautiful, he thought I was hilarious, he thought I was brilliant, and that the only thing keeping him from shooting his shot is that black women are not his preference. Now, I believe...
Bro, did y'all see her face? Did you see that smile? That's triggered! Triggered! She triggered.
I believe that in his heart of hearts, he believed that that was a compliment. But in fact, it was the exact opposite.
Well, baby, he wasn't trying to give you a compliment. He was just like, that was his way of rejecting you peacefully. You know, he basically, before pushing you off the bed, he put some pillows on the ground to try to like lessen the pain, but you obviously still hurt.
Not only is it insulting, but to have your male counterpart, the only one outside of other black women who knows what it's like to try to navigate this world and this society with this skin, use this skin against you?
What? Use his skin against you? Why? Because you're not his preference? I mean, have you thought about maybe the environment he grew up in? Have you thought about maybe the fact that he might not identify with black culture that much? Have you thought about maybe how his mother treated him? Have you ever thought about any of those things at all? I don't see the problem.
That is so very hurtful. It is so hurtful, and beyond hurtful, it is frustrating because it's disappointing as fuck. And before you even try to come at me talking about it's just preference, fuck that. It's a cop-out. Everyone has preferences. Everyone has something that they prefer in terms of attraction and what they're looking for in a partner. So this has nothing to do with preferences, because I shouldn't have to shit on the thing that is not my preference in order to make my preference known.
Tell that to Serena Williams. Tell that to all these other MacDoneaux swirling machines out here, these females that, you know, get their little white zaddy and then come out here and start telling you how much better their European boyfriend is than black men. And honestly, black men, we don't really come out here. We don't really care about who you deciding to enter you. You know why we don't care? Because we didn't come from you. You didn't come from us. And you're not somebody we trying to build with. If we're not trying to build with you, or we're not leaving no legacy to you or anything like that, we don't care about who you decide to lay down with, because it does not affect us. It does not affect, you know, our end goals or anything like that. So who cares? So for her to get out here and start talking about you're bashing me because you don't want to be with me and because I'm not your preference, man, that's pretty ignorant.
That's giving brokenness. It's giving internalized self-hatred.
It's giving... I love when women do that. So we about to break down this internal hatred she talking about. Do y'all think that's her real hair? Probably not, right? You think those are her real lashes? It's probably not, right? Do you think those are her real nails? It's probably not, right? Do you see this facade, this fake skin color she putting on herself? That's obviously not hers. She looked like a melted crayon, right? But she's sitting here talking about bro, anytime you buy a female and she start talking about it's giving this, it's giving, they triggered. She mad. She hurt. You won. At that point, pay it no mind, pay it no attention. And to be honest, most of the time, black women are black men's preference. You know, since you want to make this a racial thing. But when you start throwing in the attitude, you start throwing in the tattoos, you start throwing in the drug addiction. So we don't talk about how half these black women out here addicted to weed. We don't talk about that. We're going to throw that under the rug. So, you know, the fact that a lot of black women use their intelligence to try to beat a man down rather than lift him up, rather than teach him. You know what? You're going to experience a lot of times when you ask a black woman a question and you genuine about the question, you really want to know something, they probably insult you and laugh at you first before they actually tell you the answer or use it against you. And I can't even really say that's black women. That's women in general. You know, women will typically insult you for not knowing something, or use it as like, oh, see, my degree, it worked. My degree worked. You know, I know the temperature water freezes at, and you don't.
It's giving internalized white supremacy. And again, it's disappointing.
What? Did you hear what she's... White supremacy? Why? Because the dude don't want to date you? Because you're not his preference? Because of maybe the, you know, the experiences he might have had with people in his community? It probably has nothing to do with black women. See, she's so shallow. She thinking about maybe it's a black thing. No, it's probably not even a black thing. Maybe it's a cultural thing, because there's a lot of things black men and black women engage in culturally that he probably don't want to deal with.
At the end of the day, bro didn't have to say not nan one word. If he had already made it up in his mind that I didn't fit within his preferences, then he should have kept his mouth shut. And the truth of the matter is, I am a beautiful person. I am a hilarious person. I am a brilliant person. And I am also a black woman. And
what I don't understand is, if you're all of those things, if you really believe that, why did you have to come to social media to explain that to us? Let me tell you something. I don't know what I am, bro. I'm red, I'm yellow, I'm burgundy, I'm light skinned, whatever. Do you know how many black women I've tried dating in my life that told me I'm not dark enough, I'm not enough of this, I'm not enough of that, my voice not deep enough, I'm not tall enough? It's always something. Me personally, now, do I care? No. It's always something, bro. I didn't have women reject me for the dumbest reasons. You're too smart. You're too tall. Your voice too deep. You're too masculine. You're too this, you're too that. It's strictly about what they want. When they have these dumb, standards, when they have these remedial requirements, do we sit here and just tell them, oh, well, you're too much? Do we go to, imagine if she was a man, she going to the internet, and this dude just going to the internet pouting because some chick he wanted didn't want him for whatever reason. You know, men typically just, men typically just go where they love. That's it. Now, some of them hurt. Some of them go online and start, I got me a white woman. I got me this. I got me that. And da-da-da. You know, some of them do that, which is very weak. But majority of men don't do that. I see a lot of women, predominantly black women, get online and then they just start, soon as they get a guy from a different race, you know, who makes some minimum, you know, salary that she might think is good, first thing they do is run to social media. Oh, get you a white man, and then end up on a milk carton. But we ain't gonna talk about that.
for him to see all those things in me as a person and then stop short because I'm a black woman, honestly, I feel like makes him worse than the very people who have spent years and have spent centuries trying to tell us that we are not good enough, trying to tell us that we are less than, because you know better.
So he's worse than the people who enslaved our ancestors just because you're not his preference. He's worse than the people who, you know, planned sharecropping just because you're not his preference. He's worse than the people that practice redlining, people that, you know, will give your house a lower appraisal just because of the color of their skin. He's worse than that just because you're not the person that he wants. Come on now. Come on. We black people, man, we gotta stop doing this. We can't use the race card for everything. Stop it. What's her name? Tamara Maury. She got a white husband. Do you see people outside of her house? You know, do you see a bunch of black men outside of her house angry at her? Serena Williams got pregnant by a white guy. She flaunting them all over the place. Do you see black men in droves talking about how Serena sell out? No, Rihanna had a white boyfriend. Do you see black men out here marching with pitchforks and fires talking about how Rihanna sell out? No, because we don't care. It's black women that be caring about this dumb shit.
Because they are out here every single day spreading lies and spreading falsities about you as a black man that you know are not true. So why are they not true about you, but then all of a sudden they ain't nothing but the truth when it comes to me? If black women are not your preference, that's fine. I can guarantee you not a single one of us is pressed about that. What we're
not pressed, but you sitting here going on a rampage, making an autobiography, speaking about lineage, just because you heard.
pressed about is that you can't just like what you like quietly. So can you just please stop with the TikToks and the podcasts and writing dissertations on why? We don't need to know why. Just don't date us. All the while continuing to reap the benefits of our support and our affinity when the rest
support. Now, fellas, I'm about to ask all the black men who watch this video, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you've gotten genuine love and support from black women as a collective? I'm not talking individually because I got a black mother. I love my mama. My mama always support me. She always speak love into me. I date black women. I love black women. Okay? I love my sisters. My sisters got beautiful spirits. They very respectful, very nice women. Okay? Now, I see how they treat other guys, you know, that they be in relationships with. We ain't gonna talk about that. But she said, we need to stop taking that support for granted. You just sitting here, you don't even appreciate the support of black women. Man, let me tell you something. I've seen movements with black women calling black men trash. I've heard black women say all black men need to be aborted as children. I've heard black women talk about how black men we don't make enough money. Even though on average black men make more money than black women, but we ain't gonna talk about that. How black women need to be protected. But I've also seen plenty of articles of black women, you know, making false allegations against black men in the police department, black men who serve our country in the military. You know, so, I mean, I don't know what support she's talking about. And I'm not about to sit here and throw all black women under the same, you know, umbrella, because there are plenty of supportive black women. But I will tell you, if you don't know a black woman, if you don't know her as a, you know, personally, then more than likely it is much easier to have negative encounters with black women than it is positive, which is terrible to say, but it's the truth. So we about to let this lady feel how she feel. Hopefully she gets the therapy she needs. Hopefully she stop walking around with this bitter attitude towards some guy who rejected her. Hopefully she loves herself to get rid of all that makeup covering that she's putting on herself. Hopefully she get rid of the attitude that a lot of black women have, this vitriol towards black men, and stop putting all of us in the same bracket just because you got rejected by some guy who just did not want you. You know, so I can tell you, majority of black men, black women are their preference. But when you come to using your degree to try to destroy us, when you come with these tattoos, when you come with the attitudes, when you come with using our children against us, we ain't talking about white women and what white women do. Okay, because I see a lot of black women, when you call them out on what they do, the first thing they do, well, white women do it. So if white women start jumping off bridges because they believe they can fly, are you going to start following them? Are you going to do it? When they start boxing men, when they start living outside in the forest and let's say they want to eat worms, are you going to follow them doing that as well? No. And the funny thing is, when you talk about weave, I see most white women, European women, I see most of them adding to the hair that they already have. I've never seen a white woman in person wearing a fake afro. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. And one more thing before I go. It's funny how black women be paying to have European hair, to have Asian hair, to have all these other different demographic of women's hair. But I don't see none of these other women paying to wear black women's hair. Leave it in the comments.